ECSI fans, you want to revolutionize your sports investing habits? Allow me to tell you about WagerWire. WagerWire is an app that helps you become a superior bettor by allowing you to sync all your sports books and track all your bets in one place. See your current action, your betting history, and stats. You could also sign up for sports books and collect bonus offers. Follow them at WagerWire on X, as it's the best account on the platform. Head to App Store or Play Store now and search WagerWire and download the app.
2,000 years long, we will never settle. Hard days, no way with a heavy metal. No time, no fail, won't stop here. Like a torch to a flame when it burns hot. We won't stop.
From all around the globe, it is that time for Tea Time Wagers for Wednesday, February 12th, 2025. Halfway through February, 2 more weeks, we turn in the page, and boom, it's March. Holy tamale! Before you know it, Magnolia Lane, the Masters. But we got plenty of stuff to talk about before then. Of course, the Genesis Open, the Genesis Invitational, excuse me, at Torrey Pines, the headliner, Morikawa plus 1650. Value or not enough iron this week? Well, we'll get to that, of course. Big fan of Mr. Morikawa. As we like to say here, a big boy event, an elevated event where all the big boys are here. So I am super stoked, of course, to have Mr. Brady Kannon at Las Vegas Golfer at Sports Grid to bring us along and tell us what his eyes have seen. First and foremost, a shout out to our proud sponsors and partnerships. It's WagerWire. Head on over to Google Play, download the app. It is free. Viva Tequila Seltzer, 6 flavors in all. The East Coast is cuckoo for coconut. And last but never least, AtlantaSteaksAndSeafood.com. Head on over to Facebook, introduce yourself to Terry Smith. While you're there, jump on over to AtlantaSteaksAndSeafood.com. Steaks, chops, seafood, fillets, appetizers. He's got the whole board covered. Any questions, comments, concerns, reach out to him. He does answer. So without further ado, let's bring him in, Mr. Brady Kannon.
Hey, Jeff, how are you? Yeah, it is definitely a big boy tournament, our third signature event of the season. Of course, we kicked off with a signature event at Kapalua in Maui, had a signature event a couple weeks ago at Pebble Beach, and now where we were supposed to be in Pacific Palisades, California. Probably, I think definitely my favorite non-major of the year used to be the LA Open, the Genesis Invitational. Of course, we know the devastating fires in the Los Angeles area, specifically Pacific Palisades, where Riviera Country Club is located. Can't hold the Genesis Invitational this year. So we go back to Torrey Pines. Not a bad second choice. Another absolutely big boy golf course that has hosted major championships. And this will kind of be, like we were talking backstage before the show, U.S. Open light, if you will. This golf course, we saw it just a few weeks ago. And hey, congratulations again to ourselves. Knock on wood. We hit Harris English here at 110-1. Let's hope that luck continues at this venue. It's not going to be a whole lot different. And I was kind of weighing the pros and the cons, or the levels of difficulty, what's going to change. You remember last time we were here, the wind really kicked up on what was Thursday. It was a Wednesday start. You know, they adjusted because of the NFL championship games on that Sunday. So round 2 on Thursday, the winds really got nuts, and they specifically got nuts more so on the north course. Well, there's no north course this time. It'll be the south course only. the one they play 3 out of the 4 days for the Farmers Insurance Open. They'll play all 4 days here on the South Course. There's some rain in the forecast. Looks like a 90% chance of rain today, about a 60% chance of rain on let's see. Yeah, I think we're supposed to get rain for the first 2 days. Basically a definite chance today, about a 60% chance tomorrow, and then maybe or maybe not on Friday. And then Saturday, Sunday looks pretty clear. The first couple of days, Thursday and Friday, look like they'll have a decent amount of wind, kind of in that 15 to 20 plus, coastal breeze there that's going to certainly affect some play. So a little bit of moisture, a little bit of wind. The first couple of days, golf course ought to play a little softer. I know it is the grounds crew's goal to have this golf course play firm and fast. So Mother Nature's going to provide plenty of water, it looks like. I don't think they'll be watering this course too much at all. I think they're going to do their best to get a firm and fast track. But with the rain, probably going to play a little softer than we saw a few weeks ago, but we may not have quite the wind that we saw, at least for one of the days. So, a balance there as far as level of difficulty. But one thing for sure, in the last 3 weeks, they have let the rough grow out. So you're going to get some U.S. Open like rough here at Torrey Pines this week, probably I would say an inch and a half, couple inches deeper than we saw a few weeks ago. That will be a big difference. More emphasis on hitting these fairways. We've talked about it before. This is one of the most difficult driving courses on tour. Total driving. You got to be long and you got to be straight. This course is nearly 7,800 yards, the longest course they play on tour. So you got to be long, you got to be straight, but finding those fairways, probably even more emphasis on that this week with that thicker rough. It's going to be fun. 72 guys, the best 72 guys in the world. Rory, Scotty, all the luminaries are here. There is a cut, 36-hole cut, where they whittle it down to the top 50 and ties and anyone within 10 shots of the lead. Going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Last weekend, Thomas Dietrich boxed the wire. I'd like to say lapped the field. Now, all the numbers that I looked at had Scotty Scheffler lapping this field less than 3-1. We talked backstage. It looked like he was starting to put things into gear. Then a bogey on a par 5, and he slams his bag. I mean, prior to that, he eagles, and then he comes back and bogeys a par 3. I mean, this is, again, his second tournament back. I'd like to say Scotty is human. Should we be worried right now, Brady, or is just getting the rust off from the injury and just trying to get into rhythm here?
Yeah, I mean, he was really good at Pebble. What else is new? He finished top 10 again, right? But, Phoenix is really more a course that's in his wheelhouse, a place where he's won twice. So maybe a little bit of cause for concern there. But you're right. It's only a second start. He's coming off of injury. He hadn't played since December when he won the Hero World Challenge. So it's not like he's that far removed from winning. It was only a couple months ago. I think he'll be fine. I wouldn't necessarily, put all my eggs in the Scotty basket this week, because this is tough. I mean, sometimes that means, let's gravitate towards the best players in the world when the conditions are at their toughest. I understand that, but this is not a golf course. Again, this was my thinking with Pebble Beach a couple weeks ago. This is not a golf course Scotty typically plays. He usually does not make it out for the Farmers Insurance Open. His first stop on the West Coast is often Phoenix, and then he rolls into Los Angeles for Riviera. Well, so this is a little bit of new territory for him. And obviously he's at the short price of, 4 or 5 to 1. I think even the odds makers are telling you that it's maybe not, Scotty's week, because I've seen as high as 6 to 1. So it's going, I think this is a tough, there's only 72 guys in the field. We've talked about the rain softening up the course. That's going to tend to favor the Bombers. But I've got a little bit of everything on my card. We've seen some Bombers that are very popular this week: Minwoo Lee, Taylor Pendrith, Victor Hovland, Adam Scott. I didn't land on any of those guys. We'll see where we go here, but I don't know, if you're playing a one and done, anything like that. I don't feel like it's my week where I'm going to dive in on Scotty. And, you have to be awfully committed when you're, eating up, 4 or 5 to 1 for a guy to win a golf tournament. And it doesn't feel like the week that I'm going to go down that road with Scotty.
As Brian Gaskell said, it's a bomber's week. You talk about you got to be long and straight off the tee. When you were getting to your numbers, which we're going to get to in a second, did you take into effect what transpired a few weeks ago, or was this just a reset and go back as this is a separate tournament?
Well, it was certainly a reset and just plug in the new field. I did not change the statistics that I used. I think that remains the same. Strokes gained off the tee, strokes gained approach, driving accuracy, driving distance, which is total driving. Okay. The par fours here are beasts. I talked about how long this course is. Par fours, I think it's 10 of them measure in between 450 and 500 yards. So I looked at how guys did on the long par fours, and then scrambling is huge because these greens are relatively small. You're hitting. I also looked at hole proximity from 200 yards or better. 3 out of the 4 par threes are longer than 200 yards. 2 of the par fives are over 600 yards. You're going to have, I talked about the long par fours. You're going to have a lot of approach shots that are 200 yards or better here at this golf course. And when you have approach shots of that long, obviously you're going to miss a lot of greens. So scrambling is very, very important. And you look at Harris English, what he did when he won 3 weeks ago. I think he was 4th in the field for strokes gained approach. He was 3rd in the field for strokes gained putting, and he was number 1 for scrambling. His driving was okay. He was basically middle of the pack. So, I think those 4 areas, you give me a guy that's going to do well in any 3 of those 4 areas, and you're going to have a contender on your hands. And of course, Harris English made his way all the way to the winner's circle. So, and you remember watching him on Sunday, he got up and down from everywhere. He holed every 3.5, 4 foot putt. He was nails when it came to just grinding his way around this golf course. And I think it's going to be a lot of the same. Harris, again, in 2021, they held the U.S. Open here when John Rahm won and English finished 3rd. I think you're probably going, and I remember that U.S. Open being a little bit cloudy and overcast. I don't think we may have gotten one day with a little bit of rain, but I think it's going to kind of be similar to that. And English's winning score just a few weeks ago was 8 under par. And by the way, our friend Jeff Sherman at the Westgate Superbook out here, what's the number he set this week? 8.5 under par for your winning score. So I think it's going to be similar. And I talked about it earlier, similar to what we saw 3 weeks ago, but a little bit of difference in the weather, a little bit of difference in the rough. But I think in the end, you're probably going to produce something similar, certainly as far as score.
Well, I'm going to give you the fairway right now to talk about your correlated courses, and then eventually we'll get to your releases for this week, Brady.
Yeah, as far as the correlated courses, I use the same ones once again. Of course, that hasn't changed. I use the Country Club of Jackson, where they play the Sanderson Farms Championship, one of those fall series events. I use Quail Hollow, which I think is one of the strongest correlated courses here, where total driving is paramount. It's interesting that Rory McIlroy, your guy, has absolutely owned Quail Hollow, and he's done well here before at Torrey. Doesn't play here often, but obviously a signature event status. He's going to be here. And I know some very sharp people that like Rory this week. Let's see, what else did we use? Corrales, where they play the Corrales Punta Cana, a coastal design. Harding Park, where they played the 2020 PGA Championship and also the 2015 World Golf Championship match play, if you remember way back when they played Harding Park in that one. In fact, Rory McIlroy was your winner at that tournament at Harding Park. We also used Caves Valley, where they played the 2021 BMW Championship, Valhalla, where they played last year's PGA Championship. And I think that was it as far as the correlated. Oh, also Vedanta Vallarta, where we'll be next week for the
week.
Mexico Open. That's another one I used as far as the correlated courses. And the shortest shot I played on the board, this was the last guy I landed on, but he is the shortest shot on the board, and that is Colin Morikawa. And I was able to find him at 18-1. I've seen him anywhere from 14 to 17. I was able to pick off an 18 that was available for about 24 hours out here in Las Vegas. He's finished as high as third here before at the Farmers Insurance Open. And I mentioned that 2021 U.S. Open where Morikawa finished fourth. Oh, and by the way, he won at the Harding Park PGA Championship in 2020. Morikawa was number one on that leaderboard. He's finished as high as 16th at Quail Hollow, fourth at Valhalla last year. Last 24 rounds, he ranks fifth in this field for good drives gained, ninth in scrambling. He was 31st in total driving on tour last year. Now, his average drive is about 295 yards. Now, that doesn't rank very high on the PGA Tour, but if he's getting it out there close to 300 all week long, and the combination of being one of the very most accurate drivers in the world, I think he's second on tour currently for driving accuracy. I'll take it. If he's going to bust it out there 290, 295 all week long and find the fairway all week long, I'm just fine with that. He's not a bomber, but he's deadly accurate and he gets it out there pretty good. Grew up in Southern California, very familiar with the Poana greens, went to Cal Berkeley. So, he's a California kid. And Jeff, you go back to last year's Masters when he finished third. Ever since then, he's really been the second best player in the world, only to Scottie Scheffler. So I think Morikawa is going to have a good week this week. And I thought 18-1 was plenty fair on him. I wouldn't even mind 16-1. I don't know if I'd want to go a whole lot lower than that, but I think 16 or better is a pretty good number. And then Tommy Fleetwood, who really has never played here before. He's never played a Farmers Insurance Open before. And it's risky business if you're taking a debutante. But he did play here in the 2021 U.S. Open, made the cut, finished 50th. Tommy Fleetwood is one of the best guys in the world at playing difficult courses, and I think the U.S. Open is maybe, the U.S. and the British for sure, maybe the U.S. is his very best major. You remember Shinnecock. He has done very, very well when the going gets tough. 11th on tour last year in driving accuracy, 7th for total driving, 7th for scrambling. Last 24 rounds, he is 12th in this field for strokes gained off the tee and 8th for strokes gained approach, 26th at Valhalla, 29th at Harding Park in the 2020 PGA. And also, by the way, back in 2015 at Harding Park, when Rory won that match play, Tommy Fleetwood finished 5th. Excellent at Quail Hollow, 13th, 14th, and 5th. And then also over the last 36 rounds, Tommy Fleetwood, 26th in this field for strokes gained putting on Poana grass. So he doesn't have a ton of history here, just that one time at the U.S. Open. But, I just love this guy when it comes to grinding and playing really difficult golf courses in the elements with the wind. That absolutely suits his game. And wouldn't it be cool to see him get his first PGA Tour victory at a venue like this and a stage like this? Very cool. Maverick McNeely, definitely not a bomber. Hits it pretty good though. Similar to Morikawa, he's got a combination of a little bit of length and not as much accuracy as Morikawa, but pretty good. Ranked, I think it was 65th on tour last year in total driving. Another California kid who has had tremendous success on Poana greens, magical short game, magical putter, never missed a cut here at Torrey Pines. I think it's in 6 tries. Has finished as high as 15th. He's been 17th at Sanderson Farms, 13th at Vedanta Vallarta, 23rd last May at Valhalla. Last 24 rounds, he's 24th in this field for strokes gained approach, 7th in scrambling, 3rd on the long par fours of 450 to 500 yards, 9th in strokes gained putting on Poana grass. And then the young beanpole, Akshay Bhatia at 78-1. Now, this guy, definitely not a bomber. He's probably the shortest hitter that I've played here in the field, but still gets it out there in the high 280s, 290. And again, extremely accurate off the tee. So if you're getting it out there that far and you're deadly accurate finding the short grass, then I'm okay with it. Let's see. Where was he for total driving last year? I'm trying to find his ranking. Don't know if here it is, 27th on tour in total driving last year. So that's pretty darn good. He won. I think this guy is an absolute star in the making here. Won for the second time on tour last year, finished top 10 an additional 3 times, including a runner-up, and finished top 20 an additional 8 times, including finishing 13th here at Torrey Pines on his debut. And oh, by the way, when he wasn't even a full-time member on tour yet in 2021, he played in that US Open, made the cut here, and finished 58th. So he's had 2 very successful laps around Torrey Pines. Another California kid, grew up in Los Angeles, very familiar with the Poa annua putting surface, and that's really where he flourishes, driving accuracy and the short game. Outstanding in putting, 4th in this field for scrambling the last 24 rounds, and 4th in this field for strokes gained putting on Poa annua the last 36 rounds. So Akshay Bhatia at a long price, he could be in the mix. By the way, I played all these guys for a top 20 finish as well. I talked about the cut. When we get to the weekend, it's going to be the top 50 in ties and anyone within 10 shots of the lead. Hoping we get all 5 of my guys to the weekend. And then, gosh, you ought to have a pretty darn good shot to finish top 20. You're certainly, not getting the prices you're used to this week with playing the top 20s. But I still went after it because I think all my guys have a great chance to finish top 20. And again, I went 2.5 or 3 times with the amount risked for the top 20 finish versus what I risked in the outright market. And then finally, my last guy, and it's that magic number of 110-1. That's what we hit Harris English at last time at Torrey Pines. This time, Gary Woodland at 110-1. Technically, it's my 3rd time on Gary Woodland in this young season, but I guess it doesn't count when I was on him at Torrey Pines a few weeks ago because he withdrew. I took him again in Phoenix where he has a win, and I'm taking him again here at Torrey Pines. I wish the 3rd time would have been the charm. I've played Thomas Dietrich twice already this season. Of course, the 3rd time that I didn't get on him, he wins. And I've been saying that this guy's going to win. Well, he did, and I missed the boat there. But with Woodland, this is definitely a guy that's a bomber. In fact, he is number 1 this week in this field over the last 24 rounds in driving distance. He's won at Pebble Beach. He's won at Phoenix. He's done extremely well here at Torrey Pines with 2 top 10 finishes and 3 top 20 finishes. So far this season, he's been great. A 16th at the Sony, 21st at Pebble, 22nd last week in Phoenix. He's always been one of the very best in the business at total driving. The last 24 rounds, he is top 5 in this field for all the categories concerning off the tee. Strokes gained off the tee, total driving, good drives gained, you name it. He's a beast off the tee. He's also, last 24 rounds, top 5 in this field for strokes gained approach. The correlated courses, 16th at Sanderson Farms, 2 top 5 finishes at Quail Hollow. And in 2015, when Rory won that match play event at Harding Park, who did he beat? Who was the runner-up? Gary Woodland. So I think this guy checks a ton of boxes. I'm surprised his price is so high with how well he's been playing, the history, the correlated courses. He'd be a beautiful winner for us this week.
I love where your eyes are. Again, sprinkle in the board, the fairway, as we like to say. You come with Morikawa at 18-1, and after that, Fleetwood at 47, Maverick McNeely 52, Bhatia at 78, and the magic number of 110-1 with Gary Woodland. You got a little cherry on top. I heard some live action here this week.
Yeah, absolutely. The Live is going to tee off at, I believe, 9 p.m. Eastern time on Thursday, and they will be down under in Australia at Adelaide. This is the third time the Live circuit has played Adelaide. It's at the Grove or the Grange golf course, and this is kind of like the Live circuit's version of the Phoenix Open. Hundreds of thousands of fans. It's a party, beer drinking going on, electric atmosphere. The fans love it. Certainly a fun gig down there in Australia. And I went with 3 outright plays, didn't play these top 20 or anything like that. Just, I dabble a little bit in the Live. We had great success with it last year. I think I hit 4 outrights on the Live circuit, and we're hoping to get that thing started again this year. In fact, the first Live event I played last year was at Doral in Miami the week before the Masters, and I hit Dean Burmester, and that's who I'm going with. I'm going with Dean Burmester. Here in Adelaide, he was 7th in 2023. He was 3rd in 2024, and he just finished 4th last week on the Live circuit. He hits a ton of greens in regulation. He's a really big hitter, and I think this guy is really an emerging star on the global stage as well. He is a very, very good player. This course that they're playing is tree lined. It's the sandbelt style, down in Australia, similar to like a Royal Melbourne. He's had success there before with 2 top 10 finishes. So I'm going to go with Burmester again. And then I took Sergio Garcia also at 25-1. We know Sergio. We've seen him, on the PGA Tour, whatever, for years. Very accurate driver of the golf ball, great ball striker. And I think that's what this course demands. He was 11th here in 2023 when he shot all 3 rounds in the 60s. I think if he can put together 3 rounds in the 60s this year, he ought to be in contention for sure. And then I kind of went with the hot hand, Sebastian Munoz at 33-1. Finished runner-up last week in Riyadh, and he makes a ton of birdies. And like Sergio, he is excellent in driving accuracy. So I think this guy is going to carry some of that momentum over here into Adelaide. And I really like the price for as good a player he is. In a field of 54 guys, I thought 33 was pretty good value on Sebastian Munoz.
Quick question here. I saw a tweet. They were talking about the Live Tour, and a lot of the contracts were 3 and 4 year deals, and a lot of these contracts are coming to an end this year. Have you heard anything? Some of these guys got paid handsomely, obviously, to come over to the Live. We've been waiting for that merger. We've been waiting to say, come on, you can come back and play here, whatever. Any rumblings on potentially what could be going on to the 3/4 year deals as they're coming up to year 2025 now?
Well, it seems maybe the stars are aligning here with these contracts coming to an end. And the latest I heard is President Trump has gotten involved. The PGA Tour asked Trump to get involved with the negotiations with the Saudis, and apparently he has obliged. And my belief is that with these contracts coming to the end and the negotiations going on, I think 2026, we're going to see some sort of, coming together of the minds here, some sort of agreement where we've got all the guys involved again. I don't know how it's going to shake out. That's the hardest part to figure out. And there's going to have to be some work to be done to figure that out. But hopefully Trump can expedite things and speed things up here because, boy, I mean, we've been waiting, 2.5 years for them to get anything done. And I don't know if we can say it's even been slow, but sure, it's been slow. But hopefully now we get some more sure. And I think if I had to bet, I think 2026, the golf season, we're going to see some change.
Well, as we always wrap up this segment here, Brady, everyone knows where they can find you on Twitter, of course, at Las Vegas Golfer, but we like to hear where they can find your written work and, of course, your Sports Grid schedule.
Well, I'll be back on the grid. We missed a week last week because we were down in New Orleans, covering the Super Bowl and all that good stuff. But back on at 7:30 Eastern time with Joe Ranieri on Sports Grid. And then again at 10:15 Eastern time with Gabe Morency and Cam Stewart. Still doing the weekend gig. We did do that for Super Bowl, and we'll be doing it again. In fact, I'll be on with Joe Ranieri both Saturday and Sunday, and probably talking with you, Jeff, because as you know, Football is over. Golf season is here. It's time to talk baseball, college hoops. Here we go, my friend.
I can't wait. Have a great, great day. Send us some heat and warmth back east. And got another half foot of snow coming today and tomorrow. So, Brady, thank you so much, and we'll catch up soon. Go follow Brady, of course, at Las Vegas Golfer, at Sports Grid. Catch all his work. And we'll go to a quick commercial break. When we come back, Tyler Wyatt. Stay tuned.
Jared, hey, we're going to need you to tone it down with the Summer Friday thing, okay?
What are you talking about?
Well, for one, it's not summer anymore.
Oh, really?
Coconut. Also, who is this?
I'm the caddy.
Oh, he's my intern.
Sorry, intern. I'm his intern.
Yeah, he's doing a great job.
No golfing in the office, okay? Summer Fridays are over. You can keep the Hawaiian shirt, but the rest of this stuff, all right? Are you grilling?
Oh, yeah. Did you want a burger or a hot dog?
No, grilling in the office.
It's a good point. We should take this outside.
No, that don't. You put that right back down.
Yo, it's all in the hips.
Oh, dude, come on, we gotta go. Let's go.
ECSI fans, you want to revolutionize your sports investing habits? Allow me to tell you about WagerWire. WagerWire is an app that helps you become a superior bettor by allowing you to sync all your sports books and track all your bets in one place. See your current action, your betting history, and stats. You could also sign up for sports books and collect bonus offers. Follow them at WagerWire on X, as it's the best account on the platform. Head to App Store or Play Store now and search WagerWire and download the app. As we like to say, the show must go on, and what better way from a casino, hopefully cracking some aces, the one and only Mr. Tyler Wyatt. What's up, T?
What's going on, JD? How are you?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Oh, just getting ready to play a little WSOP circuit stop, Cherokee, North Carolina. But yeah, other than that, just going to be at the casino for the next 12 days.
Listen, I got to give you the stage. Big boy win for your Kentucky Wildcats last night. Short underdogs. Great game. Tennessee looking at a nice revenge spot there. Couldn't get it done. A nice second half by your Wildcats.
Yeah, I made the game Kentucky 1.5. So we played the Cats there plus at home. Thought, we had 4 points, I guess, closing value there. So we're hoping that the model was right, selfishly and for our pockets. And yeah, Kentucky, when they shoot that well, they're about a 40% 3-point shooting team on the season, 39 and change. One of the top 25-ish teams from beyond the arc. Tennessee is one of the better perimeter defensive teams, although they have struggled at times in the SEC. Statistics, if you go back for the entire season, they're one of the better teams, but they have struggled at times in conference play. A couple of those obviously coming to Kentucky. The Florida game at Gainesville, they've allowed teams to get hot. But this was an offensive performance from Tennessee that I did not see coming. I thought this would be a game played well into the 70s. Tennessee struggled offensively. Chaz Lanier looked good there early and then kind of struggled. Zakai was, it's just a team that was hot and cold offensively. When their defense lets them down a little bit, this is a team that struggles to get into tempo and rhythm. They're really, really good at getting a lot of easy baskets, transition points. It's Tennessee defense that lends the offense to get some easy layups.
Did we lose you? You might have lost your T. He said the Wi-Fi was struggling there. Did we lose you, Tyler? Give him another second or two. Talking about Tennessee and Kentucky last night. Tennessee loses to Kentucky 75-64. A bunch of good games as always last night. UConn shocks the world. 4.5 point underdogs win at Marquette, at Creighton earlier. They had beat Marquette, lost to St. John's on Friday, so a big win for UConn there. Texas, Alabama, 103, Texas 80. Alabama will be facing Auburn this weekend, which will be the premier game there. Kansas. Trying to hear you, Tyler. We'll give you another second or two. I know the internet and the Wi-Fi struggled there. We probably lost you for good there. Yes, we did. All right. I'm going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll wrap it up. Stay tuned.
2,000 years long, we will never settle. Hard days, no way, with a heavy metal. No time, no fail, won't stop here. Like a torch to a flame when it burns hot.
All right, he's back. Let's see if we get him. We'll give him one more shot, T. It's all good.
Can you hear me now?
I got you loud and clear. You got me?
Gotcha. Let's go.
All right. So you were breaking down the Tennessee-Kentucky game.
Yeah, it's a Kentucky team that when they shoot, that on the season they've averaged around 40%. So this is not a team that's, it wasn't a one-off that they just started to hit threes. But Tennessee defensively, one of the better perimeter teams, except for during conference play. They've struggled in 5 or 6 conference games to defend the three at all. Last night it was an environment where when you get any momentum at all, it's one of the top 5 or top 6 arenas in all of college basketball. And I've been blessed to have been to Cameron. I've seen games at Pauley. I've seen games at Palestra. I've been fortunate to see some basketball, some really tough places to play. Rupp Arena, when it gets going, one of the toughest to play. So when Kentucky got some momentum there early, it was really tough for Tennessee to kind of mount a comeback there in the first half. Tennessee starts out the second half, cuts that lead to 3 pretty quick. Goes back and forth. Kentucky gets it back out to 7, gets it to 9, and then Tennessee takes a 1-point lead. Kentucky has been a team that has been able to go on 8 and 10-0 runs as much or more than anyone. I have to go back and look. I would say that they're top 10% in all of college basketball in number of 8-0 or higher runs. As a Tennessee defense that normally gets its offense some easy points, transition points, this Tennessee team, when they're playing good, the defense is responsible for a lot of those points. They weren't able to do that last night. Offensively, Lanier struggled. Zakai was hot or cold. And they just don't have a third or fourth scoring option that's consistent. They've had a number of guys. Milicic has been good at times. He was excellent last night. Both Kentucky games, he was really impressive. They just have struggled to have that third and fourth scorer when they need someone, when Lanier struggles or when Zakai is a little bit off. That can catch up to you in March. Defense travels, we know that. But yeah, that was a performance that I thought Tennessee would be able to score. Kentucky defensively has just been really lethargic most of the year. They played a pretty solid defensive game last night. But yeah, when you hit 50% of threes and play any defense at all, you're going to win most nights. Tennessee, tough game coming up with A&M on the road there, so they can afford to to be down for too long, and then they get a week break. Games against Vanderbilt coming up. But yeah, the SEC is just tough, night in and night out. You got to be on, or you're going to take an L. It doesn't matter if you're at home, if you're on the road, or who you're playing. The conference has been really, really tough the entire season.
Well, I'll stay in the SEC as the cream has definitely risen to the top. Alabama and Auburn face off on Saturday. Both big winners there. Bama puts up a C note. It was supposed to be a close game. I got on Sports Grid last night. I gave out the Texas team total over 80, and I was blessed with an 80 on the number. A game that I thought they were going to play well. Alabama just ran with it, and then Auburn, tough setting, no problems there. Big matchup on Saturday. What are your eyes seeing on Saturday for the first of two matchups between Alabama and Auburn? We lost him again. Damn it. All right, we'll go one more commercial break. If he comes back, he comes back. Otherwise, it's okay. Don't worry about it. Bear with us, guys. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. ECSI fans, you want to revolutionize your sports investing habits? Allow me to tell you about WagerWire. WagerWire is an app that helps you become a superior bettor by allowing you to sync all your sports books and track all your bets in one place. See your current action, your betting history, and stats. You could also sign up for sports books and collect bonus offers. Follow them at WagerWire on X, as it's the best account on the platform. Head to App Store or Play Store now and search WagerWire and download the app. Hey, we gave it a shot here, Tyler. Don't worry about it. Go crack some aces there. We'll catch up with you, obviously, next Wednesday. We'll do the recap of the Alabama-Auburn game. Wanted to get into big win for UConn last night. And, of course, Amber Holly. I'm a Big Ten girl, but I love college basketball. Big Ten. Hey, Michigan State had a great January and kind of struggling in February. We know March is Izzo time. We know the Buckeyes will be hanging around Michigan. Big win against Purdue. Purdue hanging around there. The Hoosiers and Woodson going to step down at the end of the year. Shock the world, beating Michigan State there. So again, a lot of basketball to talk throughout here. Shout out to Brady Kannon, of course, at Las Vegas Golfer, talking, of course, some Torrey Pines here. 5 o'clock, myself and Riley Magnuson will be back for the closing bell. Want to thank Brian, Amber, everyone else watching and listening here. Shout out to Tyler, giving it a shot here. No problems, Tyler. Crack those aces. We'll be back at 5 o'clock. Everyone, enjoy your day and stay tuned.